we have also seen whenever there are these rounds of talks, and multiple rounds of talks, of course, have taken place over the past many years, China not willing to back down. In fact, we have seen China taking a very aggressive stand.
China has been increasing infrastructure all along the India-Tibet line of actual control. It's building a large number of airfields, roads, military infrastructure for deployment of its troops, silos for its weapons, rocket sites, all of that China has been building extensively. But India has also made it very clear to China that the overall relationship can move forward only when there is a peaceful border. So there have been 20 rounds of talks. There's massive deployment that's taken place on both sides. India is also rapidly building up its infrastructure. The fact that now you have tanks that are taken in that area and not just dropped, using your transport aircraft, but you now have multiple bridges all along this area. China was objecting to one bridge at the LAC at one particular point, but all along now you have multiple bridges in this area for faster movement of men and material, and multiple roads leading to areas where you would want additional troops. So There is a build-up from both sides. It remains to be seen whether diplomatically, a solution can be found. Where at least India is trying very hard. Remains to be seen whether China can afford tension on multiple borders, whether it's with India in Tibet and Xinjiang, with Taiwan, and also in the South China Sea.
Gaurav, please stay on with me. Mir Farid is also joining us on the story. Mir, if you can tell us, till when will the rescue operations go on?
Well, army sources tell us that the rescue effort has already been closed. There were 5 people who were unaccounted, and they all have been accounted for. Their bodies have been recovered. As we have been reporting, this includes a junior commissioned officer, and it was a crew of 5 people. So that, it seems, is over. But as Gaurav said, now the next thing is to inquire, and board has already been constituted, and this incident will be looked into, whether they have missed the standard operating procedure or some protocols have been missed. How did this exactly happen, and whether the control situation that they were doing this exercise in, whether it did allow that kind of an exercise, that too in the middle of the night. So all these questions need to be answered, and for that the army has already constituted a board of inquiry, and that obviously will submit its report. But yes, a tragic accident for the Indian Army. They've lost 5 tankmen, and including a JCO. Now, to your question, the rescue effort is over, and all of them have been brought out. And now we'll have to wait and see whether the tank has also been brought out, because we know that it was in the middle of the stream. So that process could be underway right now. But yes, rescue effort is over, and now it's more about inquiry and finding out what exactly went wrong, whether some protocol was not followed, whether whatever has been designated as far as such exercises are concerned, whether all those things have been followed. So that is something that the army will look into. But yes, in some time, another update expected from the army with the names and all other details that everyone wants to know about this particular accident. Ashwarya?
Mir, stay on with me. Gaurav, coming to you now, we understand a very difficult exercise taking place, but given where we stand with China, specifically with the expansionist mindset of China that we have seen, it's understood that for the army, for our defense forces, it is crucial to keep the tanks deployed at the spot where they are. Can you hear me, Gaurav? We'll try and reconnect with our colleague Gaurav Sawant. Coming back to Mir. Now, Mir, a very difficult exercise, as you spoke about the fact that this is an exercise that took place almost at midnight. Court of inquiry has been ordered, board has been constituted, but for the Indian Army, moving the troops away from this very crucial point is something that's impossible.
Well, yes, absolutely. In fact, the concentration of troops has only increased gradually if you talk of the last some time, because the tensions have escalated as far as eastern Ladakh is concerned. As Gaurav explained, the dimensions as far as this conflict is concerned, though if you talk of last some years, yes, there has been some de-escalation, but there are still certain flashpoints, and the Indian Army obviously wants to match the Chinese aggression. When you talk of aggression, the kind of build-up China is doing on the other side, be it airfields, be it upgrading the military infrastructure, roads, etc. So they are building up, and the army, Indian Army, is also trying to match. Obviously, we have had our own upgradation, be it roads, be it the armored personnel, be it the concentration of troops, be it manning the sensitive points on the LAC. So all these things have been happening as far as the Indian Army is concerned, and it seems just to keep the troops battle ready, to keep them in shape, these exercises have been happening at multiple fronts, and this was one armored exercise that unfortunately has gone wrong. It's a mishap. Now, obviously, these can happen because these are real-time simulations where the army wants to really basically catch hold of all the objectives of these kind of exercises, and it seems that it was one such exercise where they tried to negotiate a fast-moving stream, and it is here that the mishap has happened. As I said, there is a court of inquiry. They will look into each and every aspect of this thing and then ensure that protocols are upgraded and these accidents are not repeated. So that really is the intention of this board of inquiry. But yes, a mishap. And right now, the rescue operation has been closed. All bodies have been recovered. And now they're trying to retrieve the tank and see whether maybe there was some issue with the tank. And that obviously is a part of the overall board of inquiry. Back to you.
Please stay on with me. Gaurav Sawant is also joining us. Gaurav, how much time typically does it take for the court of inquiry to complete the inquiry? And also we understand the board has been constituted.
That's right. A court of inquiry has been ordered. This usually, depending on the situation, a team would go down on ground, speak to the commandant, it would speak to other officers, assess the situation on ground, and then it would come to a conclusion and see whether any changes are required in the standard operating procedures, need to be upgraded. So all of that process does usually take time. It could be months, it could be longer. We do not know. But the army immediately takes corrective measures should any correction be required. But, this remains. I was speaking to an officer on ground who said that tank operations, especially in areas like this, is extremely complex. It comes with its inherent risks, and these are risks that the army is well aware of. But to protect our territory from an expansionist force, all that needs to be done has to be done.
Right, what needs to be done has to be done. Thank you, Gaurav Sawant and Mir Farid, for joining me on the story. At the moment, a court of inquiry has been ordered, and very soon the total number of people who have lost their lives, the army personnel, the total number will come out from the defence forces.